Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex. I'm 24 years old, and if you saw me 1 year ago, you would never believe I could change. Not because I was different, but because I was exactly like everyone else who feels stuck. Every morning of my life used to start the same way. The alarm would ring, 6:30 a.m., and without even opening my eyes properly, my hand would move automatically. Snooze. Just 5 more minutes. But those 5 minutes always turned into 30, sometimes an hour. And when I finally woke up, it wasn't a fresh start. It felt like I was already late for a life I wasn't even living properly. The first thing I reached for was not water, not sunlight, not even a thought about my future. It was my phone. Scrolling. Endlessly. Videos. Social media. Other people's lives. People traveling, people working, people building something, and me? Lying in bed. Doing nothing. At first, it felt normal. Even comfortable. But slowly, without realizing it, that comfort started turning into something else. Frustration. Because deep inside, I knew something. This is not the life I want. But knowing is not enough. Because every day I made the same mistake. I said, I'll change tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. Days passed. Weeks passed. Months passed. And the worst part? Nothing bad was happening. But nothing good was happening either. I wasn't failing. But I wasn't growing. And that's the most dangerous place to be, because when you're not growing, you're slowly losing yourself. One afternoon, I was sitting alone. No TV, no phone, just silence. And for the first time in a long time, I heard my own thoughts. What are you doing with your life? That question didn't feel like motivation. It felt like truth. And truth is uncomfortable. Because it forces you to see reality. Not excuses, not lies. Reality. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I was stressed, but because I was thinking. Thinking about all the time I wasted. All the opportunities I ignored. All the days I said, tomorrow. And for the first time, I realized something powerful. My life wasn't bad because of luck. It was bad because of my habits. That realization was painful, but also freeing. Because if habits created my problem, they could also create my solution. That night, I didn't make a big plan. I didn't set 10 goals. I didn't try to change everything. I made one simple decision. Tomorrow, I wake up early. That's it. No pressure, no perfection, just one small step. Because deep down, I knew something. Big change starts small. The next morning, the alarm rang. 6 a.m. And everything inside me resisted. My body felt heavy. My mind said, go back to sleep. You'll start tomorrow. Same excuse, different day. But this time, something was different. I didn't move immediately. I just lay there, looking at the ceiling, thinking, this is the moment. This is where I either change or stay the same forever. That moment was not dramatic, no music, no motivation, just a choice, comfort or change. And slowly, I sat up, not because I felt ready, but because I was tired of staying the same. That was the first step. Small, but powerful. Because for the first time, I chose discipline over comfort. The moment I got out of bed, nothing magical happened. No sudden motivation, no burst of energy, just silence. But something inside me felt different. For the first time, I didn't go back to sleep. And that alone felt like a small victory. I walked slowly to the kitchen. Still half asleep, still unsure. I picked up a glass, filled it with water, and drank it. It sounds simple, but that moment was the first intentional action of my day. Not automatic, not unconscious, intentional. And that's where change begins. Power of small starts. I didn't try to do everything. No big routine. No pressure. Just one more small step. I stood near the window. The sun was just rising. Soft light. Quiet streets. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't rushing. I wasn't distracted. I was present. That feeling was new and powerful. Because most of my life was lived on autopilot. Wake up, phone, distraction, repeat. But this morning was different. I was awake. Not just physically, but mentally. The first real challenge. I sat down on my bed. No phone. No music. Just silence. At first, it felt uncomfortable. My mind didn't like it. It started throwing thoughts at me. Why are you doing this? This is boring. Go back to your phone. And honestly, I almost did. Because distraction is easy. Silence is hard. But I stayed. Just for a few minutes. And slowly, something changed. The noise in my head became softer. My breathing slowed down. And for the first time, I felt calm. Not excited, not motivated, just calm. And that calmness was something I had been missing for a long time. Moving my body. After sitting for a while, I decided to step outside. No big plan. Just a walk. The air was cold. Fresh. The quiet streets. No noise. No rush. Just me and my thoughts. I walked slowly. 10 minutes. That's it. But something strange happened. I started feeling better. Not physically strong, but mentally clear. Like a fog was lifting from my mind. And I realized something. Movement creates energy. Not motivation. Energy. And energy makes everything easier. Learning something new. When I came back home, I didn't open my phone. That was the biggest surprise. Because normally, that would be my first instinct. Instead, I picked up an old book. Something I had bought months ago, but never read. I opened it randomly and read for 10 minutes. Not a lot, but enough. Because in those 10 minutes, I read one sentence that stayed with me. Your daily habits shape your future. I paused because it made sense. My habits had created my current life. So if I wanted a different life, I needed different habits. That thought was powerful. Writing it down. I grabbed a notebook and wrote one simple line. I will change my life. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't detailed. But it was honest. And writing it down made it real. Because thoughts can disappear. But written words stay. The biggest battle. The hardest part came next. Not checking my phone. My hand kept reaching for it. Like a habit I couldn't control. But this time, I stopped myself. Because I understood something. Distraction is the reason I stayed stuck. And if I wanted to change, I had to fight it. Not perfectly, but intentionally. Taking action. Before, I used to plan everything. Think a lot, but do nothing. This time, I did something small. Just one task. Something productive. No delay. No overthinking. Just action. And that small action felt better than hours of thinking. Because action creates momentum. The first few days. The next day, I repeated the same routine. Not perfectly, but consistently. Wake up, water, silence, walk, read, write, no phone, take action. Again and again. The first few days felt new, different. But after a week, the excitement started fading, and reality kicked in. It became harder, more boring, more challenging. And that's where most people quit. Because change is fun at the start, but difficult to continue. And I felt that strongly. Because one morning, I woke up and didn't want to do anything. No routine, no habits, no effort, just sleep. And that's when the real struggle began. By the second week, everything changed. Not outside, but inside. The excitement was gone. That new start feeling disappeared. Now it felt like work, real work. The alarm rang at 6 a.m., but this time it felt louder, more annoying, more unnecessary. I opened my eyes, looked at the ceiling, and didn't move. My body felt heavy. My mind started talking. Why are you doing this? Nothing has changed. Go back to sleep. And this time, those thoughts felt stronger, more convincing, because now I had experience. I had tried for days. I had followed the routine, and still my life looked the same. No success, no big results, no visible change. That's when doubt enters. Not loudly, quietly, and that's what makes it dangerous. I stayed in bed, arguing with myself. One side said, get up, stay consistent. The other side said, this is pointless. And honestly, the second voice felt more logical because it had proof. Look around, it said. Nothing is different. And for a moment, I believed it because we are trained to expect fast results. We want change immediately, but life doesn't work like that. And I was about to learn that the hard way. The dangerous thought. That morning, one thought came into my mind. A simple one. I'll skip today. Just one day. It doesn't matter, right? That's what I told myself. And that's how habits break. Not suddenly, but slowly. One skipped day turns into 2, then 3, then you're back where you started. And I knew that, but knowing and doing are 2 different things. I sat up, then laid back down, then sat up again, confused, tired, frustrated, because this wasn't about waking up anymore. It was about discipline, and discipline is uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. My mind kept pushing me. Sleep is easier. Comfort is better. And it was right. Comfort is easy, but comfort keeps you stuck. And deep down, I knew that. After a few minutes, I made a choice. Not a powerful one, not a confident one, just a quiet decision. I will get up even if I don't want to. And slowly, I sat up. Again. No motivation, no excitement, just effort. And that moment was more important than day one, because day one had motivation. This day had none. And yet, I still showed up. That's where consistency is born. Repeating without feeling. That day felt different. Everything felt harder. Drinking water felt pointless. Sitting in silence felt boring. Walking felt like a chore. Reading felt slow. Nothing felt exciting anymore. And this is the truth nobody tells you. Growth is boring. Real growth is repetitive, and repetition feels uncomfortable. But repetition creates results. Building without seeing. Days kept passing. I kept following the routine, but nothing big happened. No success, no recognition, no reward. And this is called the invisible phase, where you work but see nothing, where you try but feel stuck, where you continue without proof. And this phase breaks most people because humans need results. We need feedback. We need signs. But here, there were none. Just effort. Daily effort. And that's where I almost gave up. The breaking point. One evening, I sat on my bed, tired, not physically, mentally. And I asked myself, is this even worth it? That question was heavy because I didn't have an answer. I had no proof, no success story, no results to show, just effort and doubt. For a moment, I wanted to quit, go back to my old life, wake up late, scroll my phone, avoid responsibility, because that life was easier. But then something stopped me. A simple realization. If I quit now, I go back to the same life I was trying to escape. And that thought hit hard because I didn't want that life anymore, not even a little. So I made a decision. Not emotional, not powerful, just honest. I will continue, even if I see no results. That sentence changed everything, because now I wasn't chasing results. I was building discipline, and discipline takes time. That night, after questioning everything, I didn't feel strong. I didn't feel inspired. I didn't feel ready. But I felt one thing clearly. I couldn't go back, because going back meant becoming the person I was trying to escape. And that thought stayed with me. The next morning was the hardest one yet. The alarm rang, and this time I didn't even want to open my eyes. My body felt heavier than before. My mind was louder. This isn't working. You're wasting your time. Nothing is changing. These thoughts didn't feel like excuses anymore. They felt like truth. And that's what made it dangerous. Because when doubt sounds like truth, it becomes powerful. I lay there, completely still, not moving, not deciding, just stuck between two choices: comfort or growth, sleep or discipline, old life or new life. And for a moment, Comfort felt stronger because comfort is easy. It asks nothing from you. It gives instant relief. But growth? Growth is slow, uncomfortable, and uncertain. Then suddenly, a thought came into my mind, clear, sharp. If it was easy, everyone would do it. That line changed something inside me because I realized the reason I was struggling was the same reason most people fail. They stop when it gets hard. They quit when results don't show. They choose comfort over discipline. And I had done that my whole life, but not this time. That's when I finally understood something. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. Some days you feel strong, some days you feel weak, some days you feel nothing. If your actions depend on feelings, your progress will stop. But discipline doesn't care about feelings. It says, you said you would do this, so do it. No excuses, no emotions, just action. Right there, on my bed, half awake, half tired, I made a new rule for myself. I don't need to feel like it. I just need to do it. That was it. Simple, but powerful. Because from that moment, everything changed. I got out of bed, not because I wanted to, but because I decided to. That difference is everything. Because before, I acted based on feelings. Now I acted based on decisions, and decisions are stronger than feelings. Something else started changing. Before, I used to say, I'm trying to improve. Now I started thinking, I am someone who shows up. That shift was powerful because identity controls behavior. When you believe you are lazy, you act lazy. When you believe you are disciplined, you act disciplined. And slowly, I was becoming that person. Not perfect, but consistent. Days turned into weeks. Still no big results. Still no success. But something inside me was stronger. I didn't need motivation anymore because I had discipline, and discipline kept me moving, even on bad days, even on boring days, even on days when I felt nothing. I started understanding something deeper. Just because I can't see results doesn't mean nothing is happening. Growth was happening, quietly, inside me. My focus improved. My thoughts became clearer. My actions became stronger. But it wasn't visible yet. And that's okay, because real growth is invisible at first. One evening, I noticed something strange. I didn't feel like wasting time anymore. I didn't feel like scrolling my phone. Instead, I wanted to do something productive. That moment surprised me because before I had to force myself. Now, it felt natural. And that's when I realized consistency had changed me, not just my routine, but my mindset. The real turning point wasn't success. It wasn't money. It wasn't recognition. It was this. I became someone who didn't quit. And once you reach that point, everything else becomes possible. For a long time, it felt like nothing was happening. Same routine, same effort, same life. At least, that's what I thought, because I was looking for big changes, big success, big results. But real change doesn't arrive like that. It comes quietly. So quietly, you don't even notice it at first. The first sign. One morning, something unusual happened. I woke up before my alarm. No noise, no struggle. My eyes just opened, naturally. I lay there for a moment, confused, because this never happened before. I wasn't forcing myself anymore. I wasn't fighting the alarm. It felt normal. And that's when I realized my habits were becoming automatic. A different mind. The next thing I noticed was my thinking. Before, I used to overthink everything, doubt every decision, delay every action. Now, I acted faster. I thought less and did more. Not because I became smarter, but because I became consistent. And consistency builds confidence. Every time you show up, you prove something to yourself. I can trust myself. And that trust changes everything. People start noticing. One afternoon, I was talking to a friend. Nothing serious, just a normal conversation. And suddenly, he said something unexpected. "You've changed." I paused. "Changed how?" I asked. "You're more focused," he said. "More calm, more serious about your life." That moment hit differently because for the first time, someone else noticed it, not just me. And that gave me something powerful, validation. Not loud, not dramatic, but real. The first opportunity. A few days later, something unexpected happened. I got a small opportunity. Nothing big, nothing life-changing, just a simple chance to help someone with a task. Before, I would have ignored it, or overthought it, or said, "I'm not ready." But this time, I said yes, without hesitation, because now I trusted myself. Action changes everything. I showed up, did the work, focused, no excuses, no delay. And that small opportunity led to another, then another. Because here's the truth. Opportunities don't come to people who wait. They come to people who act. And I had become that person. Small results, real impact. Slowly, my life started improving, not in a dramatic way, but in a real way. Better focus, better energy, better decisions, and eventually, better income. Not because I chased money, but because I built discipline. And discipline creates value. Connecting the dots. One evening, I sat alone, thinking, reflecting, and suddenly everything connected. All those early mornings, all those boring days, all those moments when I didn't feel like continuing, they weren't useless. They were building me, step by step, day by day. And now the results were finally showing. The big realization. Success didn't come suddenly. It came slowly, so slowly that I almost didn't notice it, until one day I became someone different. Not perfect, but disciplined. Not successful yet, but growing. And most importantly, I became unstoppable. Because once you build consistency, nothing can stop you. Most people quit too early. They stop when results are invisible. But that's exactly when they should continue, because that's where the real change happens. 1 year later, my life looked completely different. Not perfect, not magical, but real, stable, and meaningful. A different morning. I still woke up early, but now there was no struggle, no internal fight, no 5 more minutes. I just woke up naturally, calm, focused, ready. Mornings were no longer something I feared. They became my advantage, the time where I built myself before the world even woke up. A different person. The biggest change was not my routine. It was me, the person I had become. The old version of me who stayed up late, woke up tired, wasted hours scrolling, avoided responsibility. He was gone. Not suddenly, but slowly. Replaced by someone new. Someone who shows up. Someone who does the work even when it's boring. Someone who keeps going even when it's hard. And someone who keeps going even when it's hard. Real life results. My work improved. My focus improved. People started trusting me more. Not because I talked big, but because I stayed consistent. Every day. And consistency builds respect. Silently. The moment I understood everything. One evening, I sat alone again. Same room, same silence, but a completely different feeling, because this time I wasn't lost. I had direction. I had control. I had discipline. And I realized something powerful. Nothing outside changed first. Everything changed inside me. And then my life followed. Looking back, I thought about my old life. Late mornings, endless scrolling, no purpose, no growth. And I finally understood the truth. I was not tired back then. I was undisciplined. And discipline changed everything. The biggest lesson. Success is not built in one day. It's built in small moments, daily moments, quiet moments, moments when you choose action over comfort, discipline over mood, growth over ease. The truth most people ignore. Everyone wants success, but not everyone wants discipline. Everyone wants results, but not everyone wants consistency. And that's why most people stay the same. If I could go back, if I could talk to my old self, the version of me who felt stuck, lost, confused, I would say one simple thing. Your life will not change in one day, but if you change your mornings, one day your life will change. Message for you. If you're watching this right now and you feel stuck, listen carefully. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need motivation every day. You just need to start. Small, simple, daily. Wake up early, drink water, sit in silence, move your body, learn something, write your goals, avoid distractions, take action. Repeat. That's it. That's the secret. Final line. Win your morning and you will win your life. If this story inspired you, take one small step today. Not tomorrow, today. And if you stay consistent, one day you'll look back and realize this was the moment everything changed.